And as this is a somatic practice, I want you to have props around you that you think you might need to be comfortable. So it might be quite warm today to not have blankets and jumpers and things like that, but cushions, bolsters, and blocks and a strap might come in handy today. So we're actually going to start seated. I'm going to sit on this nice comfy pillow. So find a nice easy seat. And it doesn't have to be cross-legged. You can have the legs out in front of you. You might prefer butterfly, but no, I feel quite comfortable here that I can allow my spine to be nice and upright and just gently roll the shoulders back and down and just move into a place that feels comfortable, taking right palm on top of left, dropping those down into the lap and just gently connecting the tips of the thumbs. And here, your choice, keep the eyes open or softly close them. And just start to come to your position here. Start to come to your surroundings. Start to come to your seat as you're sitting, how you feel physically. And then invite some nice comfortable breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. So as you breathe in, you feel that energy, that oxygen traveling around the body to the toes, to the fingers, to the head. And as you breathe out, you just soften, let go, tightness, tension, and relax. Once you've done 2 or 3 of those exhales through the mouth, then just gently close the lips. And they don't have to be too tight, but breathing in and out through the nostrils. So that control of the breath, inhaling and exhaling of equal length. And that breath is neither forced nor rushed. It's patient and easy. And using the breath is one way to bring us into the present moment quite effectively, quite quickly, to just bring us back and anchor us, mind and body. So any time that you do get pulled away, whether that's on your mat or off the mat in daily life, just returning back to a steady and even breath and trying not to hold the breath, but letting it flow freely and easily. And then take your focus up towards your forehead, the area between the eyebrows. Try and soften the forehead and the temples, softening the area around the eyes and the bridge of the nose. And almost draw that breath into that single point between the eyebrows where they meet. And the breath in travels from the ground up to the head, and the breath out travels from the head back down to the ground. Maintaining that focus, or our drishti, single point of gaze internally at the area just between the eyebrows. And if the eyes are closed, you might see shapes, colors. And if the eyes are gently open, maintain that drishti, that single point of gaze. Once you feel that you have your mind and your body connected into one space, it becomes a union, working together, never separate. Gently release the hands from the lap to the sides of your body and just resting the wrists on the back of the knees or the thighs. And just feel the palms there, quite open, quite receptive, quite welcoming for you today. And just fold each finger in gently. So you start by the thumb and then gently folding in the index finger, the middle finger, the ring finger, and the little finger. And then go in reverse. So little finger, ring finger, middle, index, and thumb. And now start connecting the thumb to the tip of the finger. So as the fingers fold in, so does the thumb, and you start to connect the tip of the thumb with the tip of the finger, and then in reverse. And you might just feel it, you might be watching it, and then repeat. And it's your pace of movement. Doesn't have to be fast. Just that simple element of touch. Last time, let's just do it once more to the little finger and back. So the mind is connecting to allow you to move your fingers and rest the hands back out. And then gently curl all of the fingers in and fold the thumb over the top of the knuckles. Turn the wrists face down so you have this nice, I think it's called mushti mudra, this kind of encasement here. And we often think that a fist is, quite a violent or aggressive, but it's actually a place of safety and comfort. So it doesn't have to be tight. We don't have to curl the fingers in too tight, nice and loosely, and the thumb just rests over the top and supports that mudra. And then from there, just start to uncurl the thumb, uncurl the fingers, and the hands stretch out. So give the fingers a big stretch. And then start to rub the thighs, massage into the knees, massage into the hips, massage into the calves if you can get to them, and down into the ankles and a little bit into the feet. Good. I feel the calves are the most needed place sometimes. And then just gently the hands lift the knees. They place the soles of the feet down in front of you, and you just rest over the body, just softening the chest down towards the thighs, and really allow the head to release and become heavy. So try not to hold the neck in place. Let the head rest between the knees. And again, just find this soft and nice, easy breath. So from here, we're going to come back up to seated. And if you're sitting on a bolster or a cushion, you can come and you can take that away now. And just sit nice and tall here. The legs don't have to be too close in towards the body, but just make sure that the feet are pointing forward. We're going to do some nice seated cat and cows here. So the body drops back, feeling like you're slouching, shoulders round forward, the head drops towards the chest. And then you gently open up the chest, open up the spine, open up the gaze up to the sky. And again, just seated cat and cow. So your cat is your rounding of the spine, the flexion, and your cow is the inhale and your extension. With the breath, cat and cow releases. So we're getting into the whole spine, each vertebra, the entire spinal column, from the sacroiliac joint at the pelvis right up to the base of the skull, not forgetting any joint, any disc. And nice and slowly bring yourself back into center. Let the knees just gently fall out to the sides. Bring the soles of the feet together. And then just gently move into the head and the neck. So we can move the head and the neck left and right. We can turn the head, looking over the shoulder, noticing any differences left or right. And we can drop the head down without releasing into the shoulders. So again, just the head. And you might like to introduce some semicircles, noticing how the neck joints feel. And be creative here, and maybe there's some things that actually feel good, like you can take your chin to the shoulder and then kind of do a little bit of a rotational lift there and then go to the other side. And then let's get into the shoulders, circling shoulders, and you can do one at a time if you like. I want you to really just feel what's good, what's really nice today. And you can do one forward, followed by the other. And you'll notice that obviously the elbows and the wrists will move. And then get into the chest, the elbows, and you might like to then introduce that cat and cow. So releasing into flexion, opening up the chest. Maybe the elbows try and squeeze to meet into the center as you come forward, and they squeeze to meet behind you. That would be a little bit harder. And then you can release and start to get into the arms. And they don't have to go all the way up. They can simply just lift up halfway. And be nice and soft into the fingers and the wrist. And then going the other way. Oh, my shoulders are a bit clunky today. And then like you're swimming. Nice. And then soften those out. Oh, relax. Even just those 2 minutes of shoulder, I can definitely feel them. Shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. Tight, tight, tight. And drop them out. Tight, tight, tight. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. All the way up to the ears. Not a pleasant place. And drop them out. Last time, lifting up. And drop them out. And then just give the wrists a shake. Start to get into the wrists, circling. And if you're not comfortable in your bound angle pose or your butterfly, you can certainly bring the feet parallel or out in front of you. And then lifting up left arm, sweep it up and over. And here, just give yourself a nice kind of movement into the shoulder, into the side body. You're moving across the lateral flexion. And then other side, lifting up, sweeping over. Nice side body stretch, waving with the hand. And remember the extremities, the fingers, reach further, further, further away. And remember that mind and body connection in everything you do. Nice big hug here. So squeeze the left hand on top. So left arm comes on top. See if you can take hold of the spine, maybe the shoulders, and then big hug. Oh, squeeze it all in. Release the arms and cross them over, right arm on top this time. See if you get a little bit extra back around to the shoulder blades, the scapula, and then big hug, squeeze it all in. And release. Let's get into the rib cage. So we're going to try and isolate the rib cage forward and back. You're going to get into the waist. So circling forward to the thigh, the heels, opposite thigh, and back behind you. Head and neck can obviously be involved as well. You can release the head and the neck down, and then lifting up. Again, just being aware of how your body wants to move, wants to respond. Let it do what it wants. And going the other way. Circling back. So really trying to get into all the movements of the spine. Flexion, extension, lateral flexion, and rotation, which is coming up. So gently lift those knees back in towards one another and extend the left leg out. So you can cross over the right leg by the calf. Take a nice gentle twist here, and you can hug the knee and just open out to the back of your mat. And again, the head can look forward, and just notice, are you tense anywhere in the body in this rotation, or does it feel quite nice, natural and relaxed? Bring yourself back into the center, change legs, extend the right, cross over the left. Doesn't have to be too close up towards the thigh. And then again, hug the knee, turning the body, either looking back behind you or forward. Remembering to breathe in those spinal rotations, breathing in to lengthen, breathing out to deepen. And nice and slowly bring yourself back into center. Release the legs out in front of you and then swing them back behind you. Come into tabletop position. Let's start moving the hips left and right. Swaying hips. Again, freedom of movement to do whatever feels good for you. Start to circle the hips forward and circle hips back towards the heels. If child's pose, if coming back towards the heels is a little bit of a challenge, you can always just place a blanket underneath the ankles or between the thighs and the calves. And allow the breath to guide you through. Exhaling, you pull back. Inhaling, pulling forward. Circling the other way. And everything's moving here. Knees, hips, waist, spine, shoulders, wrists. Maybe even the head, the neck, and the chest. Close the eyes. And feel that it's just moving so smoothly. And the last time, just come back into that wide leg child's pose. So take the knees as wide as your mat. Bring the big toes to touch and just soften back. You can support the head with the hands, the block or a cushion, or the hands might reach forward, opening up through the chest, the upper back, letting your head relax down. Slow and steady breaths, a moment of stillness. Just pausing to allow everything to come back together. Mind and body working as one. And then lift the torso up, and we're just going to walk the hands over to the right side of your mat, so a lateral child's pose. And you can release the left hand, if you like, underneath the body if that feels a little bit too tight. And reaching right arm forward, dropping chest down, just release there for a moment's breath, breathing in, breathing out. And then gently bringing the hands back through the center, moving over to the other side. Again, keeping either both arms straight out in front of you or releasing the right arm underneath the forehead. Softening back right buttock to right heel. Notice the stretch down the side body. And then gently bring yourself back into center. Let's slide all the way forward so you can come down onto your forearms and lowering the hips, the pelvis, all the way down into your prone position. Head comes to the back of the hands and just bring the big toes to touch. Let the heels fall out to the side. So you've got this just very, very light, natural inward rotation. And just sway the hips gently from side to side. Soften into the buttocks. We often still maintain this tension, this tightness, this gripping in our buttocks, even when lying down. So just soften, soften, soften everything out. The pelvis just moves side to side. That becomes a little bit bigger, and you might be able to then move into the legs, and the ankles and the feet move from side to side. So you're giving the body just a gentle shake and release. Move this into the upper body. So you move the chest left and right, and then rock the head from side to side. So you're just moving on the forehead. And you might have slowed down the legs and just working with the upper body and the head, and then bring everything back to stillness. And even just those small movements, those shaking or rocking, provides energy into the body. Let's bring the hands to the outer corners of your mat. Widening the feet if you need to. We're just going to lift up through the spine. Doesn't have to come too high, and move over to the right, to the left, and up. So these are seal circles or dancing seals. Never having to come too high, never having to put too much effort in, just finding freedom of movement. Move with the breath, inhaling as you lift, exhaling as you go down, and switching sides, moving to the other rotation. So again, noticing here what happens with the lower back, the muscles engaging to support the spine as you come up into that back extension. The glutes will probably engage, the hamstrings will probably start to fire up. So just noticing every part of the body works, even though you're isolating. And then bring yourself back into stillness. Head to the back of the hands once more, big toes touch. Bring the hands back by the shoulders. Press back to tabletop. If you've got blocks and bolsters handy, you might need those for the next one. Right foot comes forward, and just gently drop into nice low lizard here. So just notice how this feels into the legs, the hips. Start to gently pull back into that little runner's stretch or half splits. Exhaling as you pull back again, inhaling as you come forward, just as we did in the child's pose. Letting the head relax into the fold and opening the gaze as you come forward. So again, the spine gets involved even when we're isolating through that right leg, right hip. And then just gently drop into your left palm and take the right hand onto the knee, and you can just give it a little press out to the side, opening up the chest. Don't go too deep too soon, and sweeping the arm back around behind you. Get into a nice twist, and then reach up with the hand as you pull back into half splits, exhaling over that right leg or in the center of the mat. Dropping into that fold. Deep breaths out and in. Nice and slowly, press the hands down into the mat to support you, lifting up that right heel, slide it back, and just take it all the way back behind you. So we want to take it all the way to the bottom corner of our mat. Take a little twist there, look back towards your toes, see if you can see the foot there. It doesn't matter if it's pointing or flexing or sickling, just see if you can see the foot. and then bring it back into center. So you get a big, nice, deep stretch there. Left foot comes forward, again, dropping nice and gently into those lizards, using blocks and bolsters as you need. Rocking a little bit from left to right, and then gently pulling back. Noticing any differences from right to left. Most of our work so far has all been symmetrical, so we haven't been working with right and left sides of the body yet. Head and neck become involved as you inhale, you look forward, you open up the chest. As you exhale and pull back, let the head release and relax. And then the right hand comes down to the mat. The left hand just presses into that knee. Left knee, open up the chest to the side. And then sweep that left arm back. Nice twist. And sweep it up and over as you pull the hips back. Exhale there. Let the body release down as much as is comfortable. Let the head follow. Place the palms down, make sure that's nice and stable. Lift the left heel, sweep the leg all the way back behind you. Cross it over to the opposite side of your mat, and then maybe the gaze takes a look back towards that foot. So you're in a tabletop twist with a leg extension. Nice. And then bring it back in. Keep the knees together here. Let the body go back into child's pose and bring the hands back to the hips. So you can soften down the head onto the mat, block or bolster. You'll notice here the compression of the chest and the belly against the thighs. Still try and find that steady breath, almost breathing through the back ribs, the back of the body. And if you need to, use the hands to roll up through the spine, or you can simply keep the hands where they are, pulling navel back to spine, coming up to kneeling. I'm going to come into the arms and the shoulders just a little bit. So crossing right arm over left. We did that a little bit in the beginning. And coming up into that eagle pose. So maybe a double wrap with the hands, or just resting the backs of the wrists together. And then just start to circle those elbows forward, up, around, and back. So the spine again gets involved, the head and the neck gets involved, but you are mainly working into the arms and the shoulders. Reaching fingers up towards the sky and just drawing a big circle with the elbows, keeping the elbows away from the body as much as possible. Circle the other way. Exhaling as you round, inhaling as you lift up. Nice and slowly, release the arms, stretch them out to the side and take them back behind you. Interlace the fingers behind you, press the knuckles downwards towards the mat, open up the chest. Big stretch down the sides of your arms and across the chest and the collarbones. Try not to let the head drop back too much. Keep some strength in the neck. Nice and slowly, roll back. This time, left arm crosses over the right. Again, you come into that eagle arms with a single or a double wrap. Start to circle one way. It doesn't matter which way you go first of all. I'm going anti-clockwise, but again, connect the breath, mind, and the body to the movement. Lifting fingers up and elbows away from the body as you change the rotation. Really highlights to me how tight I am sometimes on my left side. And then gently come back to center. Release the arms. Stretch them out to the sides. This time we interlace in front of us. So we push the knuckles away, rounding through the spine. And nice and slowly release the hands. Good. So we're going to come down onto our backs. So if you need any of those props to support you, please have those handy by the side of you. And gently draw the knees in towards the chest. We don't have to compress the thighs against the belly or the chest here, but just pull the knees in and start to soften all of the muscles of the body. There's nothing needs to be engaged or working or contracted here. Rock a little from side to side so you can get a little massage into the lower back, into the waist, into the middle back, and also the shoulders. Now here you can start to move the shoulders underneath you, getting a little massage. I had one on Wednesday by my sports therapist, which was amazing. So again, freedom of movement to just do what feels good as you lie down on your back. Now start to open up the knees out to the side so that we can lubricate into the hip joints. Take it nice and steady and slowly exhaling as the knees go out, inhaling as the knees come in. Circle the rotation the other way. Noticing any differences, noticing any clicks, crunches, any rubbing, clicking, stopping. Never pushing it too far if you have that clicking. I do. And then take the soles of the feet down. The hands go by the side of your body, palms are face down, soles of the feet in line with the knees and the hips. Make sure the belly drops down towards the lower back and the lower back is nicely spaced and spread out underneath you. The neck is nice and long, the back of the head is firmly planted, and if you feel that the chin's lifting up a little bit, place a block or a cushion underneath the head. Nice pelvic tilts here. Again, subtle, small, slow, controlled. So you're pulling back the tailbone underneath you, which provides a little back arch, and then rounding pubic bone, rounding up spine, raising the anterior tilt. So again, really trying to get all into the spine. You'll feel the shoulders probably pull together when you're pulling the tailbone back underneath you. And then the last time, maybe you want to bring the heels in a little closer as you drive the knees forward, pushing up all the way into bridge pose. If you need to support yourself, you can support underneath the thighs or underneath the back with the hands, but you can keep the hands down onto the mat. Neck is nice and long here. Knees are driving forward, hips are pushing up. Muscles have to engage here to support the body in the bridge lift. Nice and slowly roll down the shoulders. Keep the hips nice and high as long as possible. Roll down the upper back, the middle back, the waist, the lower back, and finally the pelvis. Send the legs long, all the way to the mat. Take the hands out to the side of the body. Palms are face up. Spread the shoulders. Take a moment to find stillness there in our Shavasana. Nothing is moving, only the breath. Focus is with you, mind and body together. This time, just start to work into the feet. So, rotating through the ankles, moving the legs a little bit inwards rotation and outward rotation. You come into a pigeon-toed posture and then a the turning out of the feet and the ankles. Pulling the feet back so the knees bend up, and you're pulling the toes back towards the shin in a flex, and then stretching and pointing through the feet. Pulling knees up as the feet flex, digging the heel in, and then pointing. And see if you can do that one at a time. So pointing with one foot, flexing with the other, flexing with one, pointing with the other. A little bit of coordination. That was my ankle cracking. Remembering the toes. They are the extension to your body, the foot, the ankle, the leg. Pointing the toes as well as the foot. And then relax, draw the knees in towards the body, big, big squeeze, lift the head, exhale fully. And then extend the legs and the arms up towards the sky. Nice, easy, relaxed, dead bug. Circling wrists and feet and ankles. Give them a shake. Shake the hands, shake the arms, shake the shoulders, shake the feet, the ankles, the legs. And then nice and slowly again, just drop the feet down nice and gently. Take the arms out to the side of you. Last and final thing I want to do is windscreen wiper the knees right and left. So dropping over onto the right knees, or right knee, singular. Breathe in, bring it back into the center. Exhale, dropping over to the left. And you can introduce the head and the neck on the next round. So the head goes left, knees go right. Inhale, back into center. Exhale, over. Inhale, center. Exhale, over. Last time, over to the left. Bring it back into center. And then let's just take a nice twist here. So you can keep the arms out to the side if you like. Lift the hips up and over to the left side of your mat. Dropping the knees over to the right. Maybe the feet are on top of one another. And you might need to put a blanket or a cushion between the knees. But take the right hand and just give that top leg a little squeeze. Inhaling and exhaling, just a moment of stillness in that rotation of the spine. And breathing in, releasing the hand, bringing the knees back into the center. Realign hips and pelvis first of all. Lift up, inhale, shift the hips over, and then exhale, drop over to the left side, taking left hand on top of those knees. Opening the chest up towards the sky. Breathing in, releasing the hand, bringing the feet back in, knees, center, spine, centers. Take a moment to pause in constructive rest, which is the feet go wide, pigeon-toed a little bit, and the knees drop in towards one another. Notice if you're still carrying any tension. Are you clenching into the muscles at all? Soften everything out as you just find that stillness. Bring the mind and body back together for a moment of calm. Heel toe feet into parallel. Roll over to your left or right side, whichever you need. And just stay on your side there for a moment. Use the hand to press you up. Come back up to seated. We'll finish as we started. So bringing the feet back into your cross-legged position. Butterfly or out in front of you. Take the hands back into the lap. Rest through the wrists. Sit nice and tall. Just check in how you feel. Eyes can be closed or open, but the breath is anchoring you into the present moment. The body has had a nice little slow, steady, embodied somatic movement. And release the hands and release the body. Thank you.